Shalom. I want to start off by saying all praises and honor and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Racha Kodash. Double honors to the apostles at GMS who rule well, who have learned this truth from, and salutations and blessings to you hopeful elect. Coming back once again. I have a few articles I saved within the last 2 weeks, or a little bit more, but this is all basically where you're looking at Britain's told to get ready for a truly horrific winter. Supply chain bottleneck warning issued. Brits burn wood due to energy prices. Increase number of fires, right? States the fire chief. And that's interesting because I actually was thinking that people were going to do that because this was happening already from last year, where the hydro prices were insane, and now everything is insane. You go get a taxi, you get an Uber, you go pump your gas. It's all it's all increasing, and that's due to the main fact that the dollar is completely almost worthless. The American dollar, right, which is a Federal Reserve note. It's not even money. It's a currency, which the difference is the currency is something that they can make legal, they can just, write it into law and it becomes a medium, right? But money, we know, money is something that, it always has value, intrinsic value. It always has a worth. And you can always, at the end of the day, barter it. And that's why silver and gold, right? When you think of silver and gold, you still have a bunch of people, right, which say idiotic things like, they actually make fun of people that invest in silver and gold because they're basically saying, look at Bitcoin, right, which is the first and top cryptocurrency, and they say, look, cryptocurrencies are taking over, and it's going to outpace any investments in gold and silver, and you people putting your money in that or stupid. But people, these peons, man, right? Because you people, you boast in the in the age we're in, which is the digital age, right? This is when AI, all these new things are coming out, and you boast yourself in the fact that, oh, I can invest in crypto because it's decentralized and basically anybody can access it and invest, and all these different things, all these different reasons, right? Which are facts because it is spreading. But you have to be a fool. You have to be a complete and utter fool to think that gold and silver, there's never been, nor will there ever be a time, except, right, I'm going to bite my tongue, except the time we're coming into, because that's pursuing, right, it's going into, we're coming into a time where necessities are going to be stripped, and basically, a bottle of water, I can see a bottle of water will be much more valuable than a nugget of gold. But nonetheless, there's going to come a time, before that, where gold and silver is going to be traded because this dollar is going to collapse. The system is meant to collapse. This is Ezekiel 7:19. They shall cast their silver in the streets, and their gold shall be removed. Their silver and their gold shall not be able to deliver them in the day of the wrath of the Lord Yahweh. They shall not satisfy their souls, neither fill their bowels, because it is the stumbling block of their iniquity. So we're coming into the day of the wrath of the Lord Yahweh. So, like I said, to get a pretty good idea, one of my favorite movies, right? A lot of people watched it, of course. You brothers watched it. Book of Eli, right? it was a bartering system. You know, Eli, he went in the bar, and he wanted water, and the guy's like, "That's the good stuff," right? Because he thought he wanted some spirits. Because you can, you know, ferment a lot of things, man. People make all kinds of shit in jail, in prison. So you can, you know, but water, clean, friggin' water. And that day, that place had a well in the movie, right? So that guy had a little secret, the owner, right? But he's like, that's the good stuff, you know. So Eli, he pulled out, I think, leather gloves. And yeah, he pulled out leather gloves, and the guy looked at it and he's like, that'll get you halfway of your canteen. And then he pulled out a scarf, like a nice, like you know, like a wool type of scarf. And then he got his canteen filled. But that's the time you're coming into, you know. Like I said, the gold and silver part, where people are ignoring that. Look, gold and silver has always been of value, you know. So you people trusting in cryptocurrency, they're already talking about an EMP going off, right? Electromagnetic pulse. So if the grid shuts off, never mind your cash in the bank, because we're coming up to a time where this is going to become a cashless society, right? There's already been surveys made 5 years ago where majority of so-called, you know, first world countries, they're cashless almost. Everybody uses tap. Everybody has the chip on their card. They have Google Pay, all kinds of means and methods that they pay digitally. All right, so let's get this first article, and this is all from RT News. This is from April 23rd. It says household energy providers warn of price spikes after autumn cap rise. As many as 4 in 10 people in Britain could fall into fuel poverty when the price cap rises again in October. The heads of the nation's energy companies have told the UK Parliament. The Guardian reported this week. According to the publication, they have called for more government support for vulnerable households which are facing a truly horrific winter. See, and this is the time we're coming into, man. There's brothers over there, you know, so even all the brothers, man, all our lives, man, is about to get more difficult and more hard. But that's a good thing, because at the end of the day, for however amount of years you've been in His truth, the Lord has been preparing you for this. He's been hardening you. That's why the brothers always reprove, and they always talk about, look, get hard, man, you know, in the spirit, endure, be patient, endure hardness as a good soldier of Yahushua, right? That's why majority of the time you're alone, because when you come in this thing, you cut off a lot of people. You cut off a lot of people in the world. You don't hang out with them anymore, because it's like night and day, man. You know, it's like when you were young and you were partying in the club, and it's like a sensation, man. You know, that first year, that second year, some people party for 5, 10, 15, 20 years. But, you know, for me, it was like that first, second, you know, 2 years, you know. It's a sensation, but then it gets boring, man. It gets boring. It gets tiring. So, you know, you're going to cut off people, and things are going to get more lonely. And you're going to meditate upon the Lord. You're going to meditate on a lot of things. Right? So, let's go back. Get this next one. This is supply chain bottleneck warning issued May 4th. The Royal Bank of Canada says 1/5 of container ships are currently stuck at global ports. A new study by the Royal Bank of Canada has found that 20% of container ships are currently stuck in congestion at various major ports, according to the report published on Tuesday and seen by Reuters. China's lockdowns, the conflict in Ukraine, and other strains are causing longer delays at ports, driving up costs. And these things are being manufactured. A lot of these things are already being executed from last year. So we're already almost a year into this, you know, this whole setup, man. And then, you know, this right here, this is May 9th. It says Brits burn wood due to energy prices, increase number of fires. So people look, hey man, but how are you gonna do that shit in those houses, man? In them apartments? Rising energy bills have prompted Brits to burn timber in their living rooms. Now you're going ancient times, but look, you're not ready, man. You don't know what the hell you're doing. People are gonna have to know how to do this, man. You're gonna have to know how to chop some wood and make a fire. This is the time we're coming into, man. Rising energy bills may result in a surge of domestic fires as more people are forced to turn to alternative ways to heat their homes. The London Fire Brigade said on Monday. The stark warning was prompted by a severe house fire in New Malden at the end of April, which occurred as a result of an open fire being used instead of gas central heating, meaning a resident was apparently burning timber on an open fire in his living room. Yo. And they had this saying last year in the winter when the gas was high, the slogan was heat or eat. You know, you heat your home or you get groceries and eat, you know? So, like I said, man, this is the time we're in. All right? Let's get this. This is Daniel 2:27. And Daniel answered in the presence of the king and said, the secret which the king had demanded, cannot the wise men, the astrologers, the magicians, the soothsayers show unto the king? Right? Because there was a dream shown and he didn't understand it, and he called forth all those so-called wise men, and they couldn't break it down. Verse 28, but there is a power in heaven that revealeth secrets, man. All right? So the scripture says in Amos 3:7, surely the Lord will do nothing, but he revealeth his secrets unto his servants, the prophets. Not you Christians, man. Okay? You guys don't have the breakdowns. You know? The Most High is not revealing anything to you. He's not dealing with you. You guys are praying to Serapis Christus, man. Right? And maketh known to the king Nebuchadnezzar what shall be in the latter days. Thy dream and the visions of thy head upon thy bed are these. As for thee, O king, that thoughts came into thy mind upon thy bed, what should come to pass hereafter. And he that revealeth secrets maketh known to thee what shall come to pass. But as for me, this secret is not revealed to me for any wisdom that I have more than any living, but for their sakes that shall make known the interpretation to the king, and that thou mightest know the thoughts of thy heart. Thou, O king, sawest, and behold, a great image. This great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible. This image's head was of fine gold, his breast and his arms of fine his breast and his arms of silver, his belly and his thighs of brass. Now these are dealing with different kingdoms, right? This is like in Daniel chapter 7 when it mentions the different beasts. So the head of fine gold is who? That's the Babylonians, because that kingdom was exquisite, man. That's why it was the gold standard, really. That's why, you know, it's represented as that gold. And as you keep going to these other kingdoms, they degrade. You know? All right? It says his breast and his arms of silver, which is the Medo-Persian Empire. Right? His belly and his thighs of brass, which is the Grecians, the first so-called great kingdom of you Edomites, which you had a lot of help from Israelites, but that's that's not spoken about. And then it says his legs of iron, which who's the iron? The iron is the Romans, who came after the Greeks, and they're iron because they were rough, but they were stretched out, man. They were basically stretched out. Their kingdom, when you compare it to the Babylonians and their greatness. Now, Rome was great in another way, that it conquered more, right? And essentially all kingdoms that, you know, the succeeding kingdom, right? It basically conquered more than its predecessor, which is natural, right? But Rome basically devoured, it went far. It went very far. It went all the way up to so-called Great Britain, to the island, right? So his legs of iron, his feet part of iron and part of clay. This is where we are today. What do your feet represent? Your feet represent the end of your body. Because although from another point it's your foundation because you stand upon it, right? You look a man at from his crown, from his the crown of his head. That's where you look, and then you go down, and his feet, that's the bottom, that's the last thing. So the feet, part of what? What did it say? Part of iron and part of clay. So that's dealing with the EU, right? And America, which is that last little part of the revival of the Roman Empire. But it's the last part, man. But that part of iron and clay, because some kingdoms were great, but now guess what? Everything is messed up. You can't mix iron and clay. So you seen over 10 years ago now. Jeez. I'm thinking like over 10 years ago, the pigs nations, Portugal, Italy, Greece, Spain. But guess what? Now all of Europe is messed up, man. It's all melting, man. The clay is melting. Because you're seeing it. You know? Verse 34, thou sawest till that a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet, that were of iron and clay, and break them to pieces, which is Yahushua. And that shows you the time that we're living in. We're in the time of the part iron and clay, which is the EU, America, which when Yahushua comes, they're going to fight against him, and he's going to destroy them in pieces, man, break them in pieces. In verse 35, then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broken to pieces together. Why? Because America is known as Babylon the Great. It's a collection. It's a whole amalgamation of kingdoms, right? This kingdom is Babylon. This kingdom is Assyria. This kingdom is Egypt as well. This kingdom is Greece. This kingdom is Rome, right? And America is very fitting because America has a lot of cities named after Egypt or Assyria or different kingdoms. You know? They were broken to pieces together and became like the chaff of the summer threshing floors, and the wind carried them away. The missiles, man, when the missiles come, and Yahushua with the angels, no place was found for them. And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain and filled the whole earth. Right? So this is the time we're in, man. As you're seeing, this place is burning. Listen, Britain is a great kingdom, actually. It was a great kingdom, but this thing is being set up from within. You know? And what I mean by that is these oligarchs, the elites, they're actually counting on these nations falling because they really don't need majority of you people. At one point, everything was about being industrious and innovative and laboring, and they were gathering the most, the brightest minds and enterprises and all these different things. But listen, it's end game, man. They have all the riches. They don't need riches. They got all the manpower, so now they just need a lot less people, and some people to live to serve them. That's it. That's pretty much it. That's their plan, and to eradicate the Israelites, really. Because the top oligarchs, you elites, you know what the hell's going on. That's why your daddy, God damn it, what's his name? The daddy Rothschild, who changed his name to Rothschild from Amschel Bauer, which is a servant. That's what that name means, a servant, man. And he changed it to Rothschild, which Roth means red, shield, and shield is really like, it's interchangeable with child, because a child is like if you have a son and you grow him up, and then when you're in your later years, he's a shield, he's a protector unto you. You know? He looks after you. So you change that name to Rothschild because you know what the hell's going on. You know the deal. He was a so-called rabbi. He was a master of at least the Torah. So you know about Jacob and Esau. You know? But that's the time we're in, man. So, yeah, I hope you're edified. I want to say Kal Halalim, La Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Ruach Double honors to the apostles of GMS and Kwame Asharala. Shalom to the elect.